Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Budapest here in the capital of Hungary. I hope everybody has had a great week and is enjoying their weekend so far. Hi Anna, welcome members. Hello Adriana, Mahbuba. Good to see many students already in this class. We are focusing on speaking part 3 with some examples and practice. Our goal is to get that perfect band 9 score. As usual, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Check us out there. For the general IELTS, visit us at ieltshelp.com. On both of our websites, we have lots and lots of materials to help you succeed, learn better communication, better grammar, vocabulary, and you can even practice your speaking for free. I will show you where exactly here. I'll just darken up the screen a little bit so you can see this. So this is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. We're an official British Council IELTS registration center for Saudi Arabia. So if you're in Saudi Arabia, you can register through us. You can click this big red button to join our premium package. And when you do that, you will be able to log into your My Student account in the top right of your screen. Of course, you can use this on mobile as well, and we have mobile apps also. Then you have computer-based practice exams, lesson videos. You can see that there's lots and lots of lesson videos. And on the right side of the screen, you will find this student partner speaking. And when you click on that, a new window will open up for you. And you will always find some students in your student partner speaking. Right now we have Sunkit and Hassan, and you can video chat and audio chat with them. They are other IELTS students, and you can also find some speaking questions. This is absolutely free. You do not need to pay a single dollar to use that function. All you need to do is just create an account. You can create a free account if you'd like. And then you can use the speaking there. We also have new Instagram accounts. This is IELTS_AEhelp for Instagram, where we post daily vocabulary and videos, speaking videos as well. So check us out there. Jas, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Hi, Rashika. Hi, Nikhil. Good to see more people joining in. All right, let's get back to our topic for today. Insta25 will get you a 25% discount on our websites. IELTS_AEhelp for academic Instagram and GIELTS help for general Instagram. Let me brighten up our lives here so you see a little bit more of me than just a silhouette. All right, there I am. And there you are. Hi. All right. If you have questions, just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. I will gladly respond to your inquiries. Tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, no classes. That's usual. And then we start back up on Wednesday at this time with speaking part 1. And we have classes as regularly scheduled all the way until Saturday. So lots of live classes coming up next week. You can find our live class schedule on our YouTube channel in our community posts. You can also find it on our Instagram. Okay. All right, everyone. So today is speaking. So make sure to speak with me and repeat. It's very important for your practice. So speak and repeat. Okay. Speak and repeat. Those are good steps to improving your English. Okay. Don't be shy. Speak and repeat, nice and loud. All right, so speaking part 3. Speaking part 3 is a bit more challenging for sure than part 1 and 2, because you have to talk to the examiner and have a conversation on a more specific topic. It's usually connected to part 2 cue card, not usually, always connected to part 2 cue card. So you want to make some connections. We're going to get right into it. And my first tip for getting a high band 9 is always answer plus explain plus example. This is always what you should be thinking in your mind when you're answering these questions. Let's take a look at 1 or 2 questions to warm up. I will give you feedback and we'll talk strategy as we progress. So let's talk about human rights. Okay, human rights is obviously a hot topic globally. It's a very important topic in progressive societies, United States, Canada, UK, many other countries. Human rights are often discussed amongst people and the media. So human rights, of course, we're talking about what every person should and should not do for themselves, for society. Here we go. Many countries and people advocate for equal rights among all people, men, women, and children. Is this realistic for society to achieve? So the examiner, after asking you a couple of follow-up questions to your part 2 response, will say, okay, let's talk about human rights. Many countries and people advocate for equal rights among all people, men, women, and children. Is this realistic for society to achieve? They might add something like why not? Of course, you have to give an explanation. So give me a nice answer, explanation, example. Okay. Eugene, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much. Love those emojis. All right. So Lachika says, yes, it is realistic. Everything is possible. If everyone treats others equally, irrespective of their color, religion, place of birth, then it is possible. Okay, Lachika, can you give an example? So you're saying it's possible. You're giving an explanation. So answer, explanation is there. Maybe an example. Okay. Ferdov says, absolutely no. As throughout history, humanity has never achieved this because maybe human rights are abstract and every society can interpret them differently. Okay, Ferdov's good. So we have a yes, we have a no. And this is, of course, where you have to remember that the IELTS, they don't judge you. So some people think, oh, what if I say no? What if I say yes? Doesn't matter. We are all allowed to have our own opinions, and in IELTS they don't judge you. So just give your opinion, have a good explanation. Okay, I think Lachika and Ferdovs both make good arguments. This could also be a task 2 question, by the way. Negaiman says, I think the majority of nations can attain this standard of equality. Governments can allocate funds to education, raise people's awareness about privileges and responsibilities. My neighbor, okay, so Anna, I can see you're going into the example, which is good, and you have a solid answer, so it's nice start. Okay, notice everyone how there's so many different ways to answer a question, and there are many high band answers. I think Lachika, Ferdovs, Nighaim, you're all within that 7.5 to band 8 response level, so very good. Okay, practice, of course, your fluency and pronunciation as well. Okay. All right. Odile Khan says, it's not real to achieve this, but humans should support it. All right. Odile Khan, it's a good start, but you need more. You need an explanation. You need an example. Shivani says, yes, it's possible considering the rights of a human being, the basic rights of a human being. Both men and women should get equal pay for the same profession. Okay, very good. All right. Carolina says, yes, I do believe that the fundamental rights, such as freedom of speech, should be the same for all people. However, some rights, such as the freedom to vote, may not be realistic for young children, as they neither have the knowledge of politics nor do they necessarily want to vote. I know when I was 10, I had no idea of world affairs, and I certainly did not desire to wait in line for voting. Carolina, that answer looks oddly familiar to me. That would be a Band 9 response, certainly. Okay, it's a very clear, logical answer explanation. So if anybody's curious about what a Band 9 response looks like, Carolina's got it. And I do believe, Carolina, I've seen that answer somewhere else as well. Oa says, I think equal rights among men and women and kids need much struggle to achieve. It's easy for some countries, Canada is a good example, to have equal human rights for all, but not for others. Okay, Ois, I think you're on the right track, and it's good. Just be careful of the grammar, but you're doing better, Ois. I can see that your practice is paying off, so good job, Ois, all right? You're listening to me, and I see that you're practicing your grammar, and I can see the improvement. That sentence is much more comprehensible than some of your responses in the past, so good job, okay? Surya says, yes, it can be achieved, but to make it realistic, every individual should treat one another equally and give freedom of speech. For instance, in India, girls are really scared to walk at night. Why, Surya? Because they are not treated with the respect that they deserve, right, Surya? So a little bit more, okay? So, yeah, so Carolina, absolutely, you're right. So I do believe that certain fundamental human rights should be the same for all people, regardless of age, ethnicity, or color, such as freedom of speech, freedom of health. However, some other rights are definitely not possible to permit for everyone, such as driving a car. It would not make sense to let a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a truck. Okay, so here we go. This is my response, okay? Again, repeat after me. It's very important, students, that you're practicing questions as well as answers. So when you're doing group work for speaking, take turns alternating question and answer, okay? So here we go. Let's start with the question. Many countries and people advocate for equal rights among all people, men, women, and children. Is this realistic for society to achieve? I do believe that certain fundamental human rights should be the same for all people, regardless of age, ethnicity, and color, such as freedom of speech, freedom of health. However, some other rights are definitely not possible to permit for everyone, such as driving a car. It would not make sense to let a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a truck. Answer, explanation, and example. Notice how I don't say for example or for instance. I just go directly into the example because it's related, okay? So when you're thinking about examples, okay, so this is another tip here for your Band 9, all right? When you are considering your examples, do not say, for example. Sometimes if that slips in, it's okay. So if every now and then it just naturally kind of comes into your language, like for example, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but don't say for example or for instance frequently because the examiner will start to interrupt you and cut you off, and you don't want that, okay? So don't say for example or for instance often. as the examiner will cut you off, okay? Cut you off means they will interrupt you, okay? But rather, think about smooth, relevant examples that just fit into context, okay? So that's the tip. So when I say some other rights are definitely not possible to permit for everyone, such as driving a car, it would not make sense to let a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a truck. Obviously, it's a very strong visual example that's relatable. It doesn't have to be introduced as for example, okay? All right, so pay attention to that. Okay, let's go to the next one here. So give me, again, a full sentence answer. So answer, explanation, example. Here we go. Next question. Freedom of speech is very important to many societies around the globe. What are the positives and negatives of this liberty? Liberty is another way to say freedom. So think about Statue of Liberty. Freedom of speech is very important to many societies around the globe. What are the positives, plural, positives, and negatives? So you want to think of at least one for each. Ideally, you want to think of maybe 2 positives, 2 negatives of this liberty, okay? Give me a full sentence answer for this one. For Dobbs, says, the main benefit is society can be aware of all issues for people and can effectively cope with them. Also, it helps to create a sustainable future for all citizens. The main drawbacks of it are that people's point of view is sometimes different, and it can cause clashes or even wars, like the civil unrest currently in the United States between the 2 political sides, the Democrats and the Republicans. Right? For Dobbs, that's if you want to finish that sentence, okay? Juan Pablo Avila, very good example, by the way, for Dobbs. Juan Pablo Avila says, the positives are that people who are suffering can express their concerns and be heard, especially with the help of journalism, and their problems will be solved. On the negative side, people with certain disorders and even criminals can take the streets and cause damage to property and other people. Okay, so we can influence society both positively and negatively. Yeah, and for Dobbs, the words you were looking for is civil unrest or civil conflict. And of course, if conflict escalates physically, then it becomes civil war. Okay? All right. Jassy says, I think allowing the liberty of speech informs people of certain benefits to some extent, and it's related to the welfare of individuals. However, in some cases, folks tend to manipulate people by spreading propaganda, a certain type of lie which aids their own benefit and can harm others. Okay? All right, so I made some corrections there and added a bit of information. Hi, Kyber, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Carolina says, well, I know that freedom of speech is especially important so that people are not scared to say what they think, and this is needed for positive change in society. Like in my country of Colombia, we are free to express ourselves. Okay, Carolina, I'm looking for the rest of it. All right. Gabi Lazurka says, in my opinion, the most important benefits of freedom of speaking are spreading creative ideas that people have, and the second is the respect of the state for their citizens. One of the drawbacks of this is, so obviously, students, this is one of those questions that's quite provocative, and I think most people have a fair bit of opinion about the answer for this. So it's difficult to fit the answer into just one chat response. You're needing at least 2 chat responses here to really express yourself. And I think you're on the right track with that. I think that this is not the kind of question that you can easily just respond to in a couple of sentences. It really does take a bit of explanation. So your thinking is correct here. All right. Let's see what else we have. Sundar Singh says freedom of expression is highly important throughout the world, which enables individuals to raise concerns, bringing the administrative attention necessary for solutions. However, it may also result in communal harm or disharmony, okay, when people have opposing views. Okay, Sundar, yeah, I can definitely see where the rest of your response is going. Good. Okay, I'm looking for those other half of the responses. Devansh says, I believe that freedom of speech is helpful for the nation to express people's ideas and visions for the country. On the negative side, it can also lead to riots and damage to public property, like in India, the farmer protests damaged government property. Okay, good. Yeah. So I believe that the liberty of citizens to express themselves either in verbal or written form is advantageous because it leads to positive change and people feel that their voice matters in the evolution of their society. However, this right can certainly be misused, which can lead to civil unrest. There are certainly many cases of negative propaganda in the past that has resulted in people's suffering. Okay, and I'm sure we can all think of a few examples there. So here we go. Repeat after me. Freedom of speech is very important to many societies around the globe. What are the positives and negatives of this liberty? I believe that the liberty of citizens to express themselves either in verbal or written form is advantageous because it leads to positive change and people feel that their voice matters in the evolution of their society. However, this right can certainly be misused, which can lead to civil unrest. There are many cases of negative propaganda in the past that has resulted in people's suffering. I'm going to take out this certainly because I don't want to repeat the same word over and over. I want to control my diction so it sounds professional. Okay? And this is why it's always a good idea when you're practicing your speaking to record yourself, listen, go back and make corrections. Okay? So this is another big tip, all right? And I know most of you know this, so it's more of like a reminder, okay? Because I think many of you know this, but you forget to do this often enough. So a reminder is always record your IELTS speaking practice, listen back, identify mistakes, and make corrections. Okay? It's very important. When we do our mock IELTS speaking interviews at ahelp.com or glshelp.com, we use Skype and we record the session so that our clients can listen back and make mistakes. So if you ever book a mock speaking interview with us, you get the recording of that interview as well so that you can listen and you can correct in the future. It's very, very important, okay? All right, let's go to the next question. Here we go. How has the internet and social media influenced human rights in the 21st century? So again, part 3, it's digging for in-depth information. It's challenging your highest level of English communication. And here we go. How has the internet and social media influenced human rights in the 21st century? Now, I see a little bit of chatter in the chat section. Remember, people, don't get too emotional about the topics in the IELTS. Your goal is to get a high band score, okay? So keep it simple, okay? Keep it focused, all right? All right, thanks for the feedback, Carolina. Okay, so Ferdows says the World Wide Web and social platforms give unseeable opportunities to all individuals who want to express themselves. However, some try to use it for criminal activities like conquering Capitoli in the USA. And, okay, Ferdows, so you're keeping with that example, which is good. You're making connections. Capitol Hill, I think you're talking about. Okay. Murad Khan just retracted. Okay, no problem. When you're ready again, Murad Khan, just put it up there. Juan Pablo says they have influenced people's lives by making it easier to express opinions and access information and news. Although people have to be careful to make sure they're getting trustworthy information. Through social media, people can organize peaceful rallies and protests, which can be regulated by social media moderators like on Facebook and Twitter. Very good, Juan Pablo. So encouraging peaceful protesting, and often it leads to more effective results, for sure. Fighting fire by fire usually just leads to everything being burned. Or as Mahatma Gandhi said, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, right? And I'm not sure if he's the first one that said it. Maybe it was Buddha, but definitely very true nonetheless. Okay. All right. Gabi says these social networks have influenced much of the human rights in recent decades due to the liberty of expressing our emotions, even those who might not be in a position of power or have higher education. And this has led to chaos as well as reform in the streets, right, Gabi? So chaos and reform, both. Okay. Rams Alamir says, I believe the internet has dramatically changed social rights movements compared to before. People nowadays express their opinions on social media by writing down their agreements and disagreements on specific subjects, like the regulations for the pandemic of lockdowns and how that affects businesses and people's lives. Okay, very good. It's smooth flowing example, right? All right. Mohigul says there are several significant rules that are common in many countries. One of them is every individual's rights and equal obligations. Okay, I think you're jumping ahead there, Mohigul. We haven't gotten to that question yet. Janelle says, well, in the 21st century, the internet and social platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp has significantly affected human liberties. It has effectively conveyed information to people faster and changed. Okay, I see where you're going, Janelle. Finish the idea, all right? So, yeah, the World Wide Web and social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram have had a massive impact on human rights since the turn of the millennium, as people are more connected than ever before. It is now very quick and efficient to express views on certain issues, as well as to organize large groups to affect pressure for change. This can be observed in hot topics like allowing women to vote in every country around the world. Okay, so here we go. Repeat after me. How has the internet and social media influenced human rights in the 21st century? The World Wide Web and social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram have had a massive impact on human rights since the turn of the millennium. As people are more connected than ever before, it is now very quick and efficient to express views on certain issues, as well as to organize large groups to affect pressure for change. This can be observed in hot topics like allowing women to vote in every country around the world, to vote and to drive as well, right? Okay. So notice how I'm being a little bit melodramatic, so I'm really emphasizing my ideas and my sentences, but at the same time, I'm keeping emotional control. That's a big trick, everyone. So this is, I'm going to call this a trick instead of a tip or a reminder as before. You want to have clear emphasis in your voice. For the IELTS, it is a good idea to be a bit melodramatic. About 5 to 10% more than your usual. You want to sound enthusiastic while maintaining emotional control. That's the trick, okay? So sound like you're really into it, but at the same time, contain yourself, okay? Don't get lost, don't start crying, don't start shaking, don't get angry, don't get nervous, just maintain emotional control. That's the trick. And this is especially true if you are doing the speaking via video chat. So because of the COVID, some people are doing the interview through video chat, and the camera acts kind of like a filter, so it decreases your enthusiasm, your emphasis. So you want to be a little bit more melodramatic. You want to be a little bit more hyped up than usual, okay? It's very, very important. Okay, all right. Devansh says, yeah, boogie on. All right, that's what I like to see, Devansh. Good. Okay. So you're doing a good job, and the examiner's impressed, and they're pushing forward. You're answering quickly and fluently, so there's lots of time to get into deep discussion. And so the examiner is shifting gears a little bit and says, okay, let's talk about rules and regulations. And then ask the question, what are some important rules that are common in many societies? So let's talk about rules and regulations. What are some important rules that are common in many societies? Now, this is where you want to keep it simple, stick to the facts, stick to common knowledge. Don't overcomplicate. Okay. Shivani is asking, is it okay to give long answers or to be super specific? Shivani, you want to give complete answers and you want to be original and specific. It depends on the question, the length of your answer. You want to think answer, explain, example. All right, so one more time. What are some important rules that are common in many societies? Kevin Bowie says key legislations that are universal are about traffic, like fastening seatbelts or wearing helmets on scooters, or about education, say mandatory requirement for all children to attend primary schools. Clearly, these laws are introduced in the interest of the community as they contribute to social stability in one way or another. Very nice answer, Kevin. Yeah, so certain social rules and regulations like traffic laws, laws for education. Yeah, everybody has the right to be educated. Good. Ois, the interventions against any abuse to human rights differs from country to country, but most rules and interventions from authorities through investigations and warning of prison or protecting others. Ois, I'm not sure where you're going with it. That one you're going to have to rethink so that it's a little bit clearer. Okay. Nyan Dungel says, rules regarding humans, human rights and equality are very common and important, which influence human life in many countries as the world is modernizing. Nyan, give me some specific examples. So, Nyan, what you have is an explanation or sort of an explanation, but no actual clear answer. Okay? Think about an answer. So, what are some important rules that are common in many societies? This is asking for some specific rules or laws that are the same in most countries. Carolina says, each nation has its own rules, but I can say that every country has rules for safety, traffic behaviors, respecting authority, not harming or killing others, against thievery, or damaging people's properties. This keeps society stable and keeps people's quality of life high. Okay, yeah, Carolina, good. So a little explanation, Carolina, at the end as I was kind of pushing there. Will make it better, but that's good. Yeah, so again, traffic laws, laws for safety of people, not killing, not hurting others. Absolutely. Those are the rules that are common in basically all societies, right? So if you go and you punch someone, you will get arrested if you are of adult age, I'm sure. Okay. Azush says most countries agree on certain rules that are common. For example, driving rules. They always aim to reduce the number of accidents all over the world. These kinds of rules makes lives standardized and organized. And I would say obeying these rules is evidence. Okay, Azouch, not bad. It's a little bit off. So try to be a bit clearer, a bit more specific. So some of the universal regulations that can be noted anywhere in the world are traffic laws, such as stopping at a red light, safety regulations, and codes of conduct, such as not harming other humans or stealing from others. These laws are in the interests of both individuals and society, so that we can all enjoy a better quality of life. Okay, so again, here's the question. What are some important rules that are common in many countries? Some of the universal regulations that can be noted anywhere in the world are traffic laws, such as stopping at a red light, safety regulations, and codes of conduct, such as not harming other humans or stealing from others. These laws are in the interest of both individuals and society so that we can all enjoy a better quality of life. Okay, good. Now, you're doing a good job, and you might get a couple more questions from the examiner. Like, some people believe that the death penalty is necessary for extreme crimes such as murder. Others disagree. What is your opinion and why? So really getting into some hot topics here. What new laws may people see in the future, and why? There's another question for you. I'm going to leave these last two questions for you to practice on your own and with other students. If you'd like to book a mock speaking interview at some point, you can do that on the websites with this yellow button that you'll find at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. It's the speaking interview practice, so click on that. And you can practice with other students. Click on the student partner speaking blue button there, and you'll find other students who are looking for speaking partners, okay? So to do that, all you have to do is you go to either aehelp.com or gieltshelp.com. This is for general IELTS. You can click on that green button to try for free, and you can find a speaking partner, or you can get the premium package and click that red button there. Students, that's it for today. I will be back on Wednesday with some speaking part 1. We have a few days of rest. Make sure to study, make sure to practice, and record yourselves, okay? That's really important. Record, listen back. You're very welcome, Eugene. You're welcome, Anna. Thank you so much, everyone, for your contributions. Stay positive, stay confident. You're all smart people. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, okay? You're all beautiful, brilliant people. Keep up the good work. Much love to all of you from the heart of Europe. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'm Adrian. Bye for now.